Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good afternoon, First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips joining you a little bit earlier today. I appreciate your patience kind of tuning in around here this 12:45 instead of our 2 o'clock, which is our usual hangout time. We got to do a little bit of maintenance today, so that's why we are kind of switching up those times, but we still appreciate you giving us a few minutes because we are going to be talking about the cold air coming in. You're already probably feeling the cold. I know that's what I was thinking while I was outside, but we have yet more cold air coming in. So yes, it's not going to get any better here for a little while yet, but we are going to be showing off that 7-day forecast, maybe hoping for a little bit of relief there. But first off, we want to make sure that everybody is prepared for our First Alert weather days. So we have these issued for Friday and Saturday. We are going to be finding that the First Alert weather day will be needed all day long on Friday, as wind chills are just really not going to rebound all that much. So we are going to be finding that through the entire day of Friday to have really kind of that bitter cold air in place. And then that will last into Saturday morning. Of course, typically we see our overnight lows kind of hit right towards sunrise. So that's why on Saturday we are going to start the day with still those frigid conditions, but we do start to see some improvements of it not being as cold or as frigid the later on that we go. We are also having this First Alert weather day just for parents and families and even schools, keeping an eye to the forecast because bus stops tomorrow morning are going to be cold. This is not a day where the kids can overrule and say shorts and t-shirts and flip-flops. They're not going to be comfortable even doing that. So make sure that they are layered up, that they are bundled, especially if the wait at the bus stop is a little bit longer. If you're maybe waiting 10 minutes, it's still going to be very cold. So that's why we are just first alerting that bus stop is going to be bitter cold. We also are going to be first alerting you that frostbite potential to exposed skin is going to be less than 30 minutes. And with some of these numbers, we may even see it closer towards 15 minutes. So that's why we want you covered up, hats, gloves, make sure that you have those pants on, the winter coat to kind of help keep your core warm. And just make sure that you are taking those precautions, covering up as much as you can, even bringing a scarf up to cover your cheeks. That'll be a big help if you do have to be outside for long periods of time. We do recommend that if you do have plans that are going to keep you outdoors for a large time frame on Friday, that you are able to at least get inside, warm up, take some breaks, and then go back outside, kind of go and spend equal time between inside and outside if you have to be outside. But we are going to be watching for this cold air to be kind of ushering us into the weekend. Kind of staying on track with that thinking, the National Weather Service did issue that cold weather advisory. They had the watch yesterday, but we are finding that we have the advisory. So that's going to start tonight at 1 a.m. That's going to last until 10 a.m. on Saturday. So it's really kind of the window that we are going to have kind of our worst wind chills. We find that everybody here in mid-Michigan and even across the lower peninsula, we have those alerts. So it is going to be mainly the frostbite concern, but you are going to anticipate seeing maybe that furnace running a little bit more, a little bit tricky to kind of keep the house warmed up. So it's really those outside concerns that we have, but still you're probably going to notice a little extra chill even while you're inside, or just that the furnace needs to run a little bit more. When we look at our low temperatures tonight, we find that those air temperatures, this isn't even the wind chill, this is going to be the air temperature tonight, does drop into the negative. So this is going to be the coldest air of the season. I know I was saying that on Tuesday, but this is now going to be kind of trumping over that. So we are going to have kind of this Arctic outbreak to bring in the coldest air of winter so far. We're not even to February yet, so we'll see what that has in store. But a lot of us are going to be around -1, -4, even Houghton Lake we have at -8 for a low temperature tonight. So it is going to be just downright cold with just the air temperature. Then we add the wind component on top of it. So that's really where we kind of hit that dangerous zone. Let's look at our wind chills. This is starting at 1 a.m. when that advisory kicks in. You can see already at 1 a.m. because it's right around 11 o'clock midnight that cold air starts to usher in. So we will find that our future feels like temperatures are going to be around 15 degrees below zero, even falling closer towards 20 below. By the time we wake up on Friday morning, this is where we could be seeing those wind chills easily around -25. Even some of those -30s have been showing up. This is going to be pretty just downright cold, frigid. There's no other way to say it than it's just simply going to be cold. So if we reach kind of that -30, that's really going to kind of be concerning, because that's really when those frost bites become smaller and smaller and smaller for exposed skin. So I'm hoping to kind of at least keep it towards -25. Not that that's even much better, but it might be a little bit more tolerable than -30. So Friday morning is really going to kind of be the coldest. Into the afternoon, we don't warm up all that much. We'll still be seeing our temperatures that are around -20 into the evening. So if Friday night's your night that you go out to dinner and kind of treat yourself after the week, you are going to be seeing that it is cold running into the restaurant and running back out to the car. So maybe it'll be a dine-in night, getting some delivery. But if you want to go out weather-wise, it's just going to be cold. You really won't have too many snow concerns to get there. Of course, if you're traveling for high school basketball, it is going to be cold going to those games. So just be mindful that all of Friday is really not going to be much improvements in the later forecast. And going into Saturday morning, we still are seeing our numbers hovering kind of right around that -20 range. I have seen some different weather models that are trying to cut back a little bit going into Saturday morning, to where even as we get into the mid-morning, we start to see some quick improvements. So we may need to make some adjustments to that the Saturday first alert weather day, just in case we can kind of get that cold air to break a little bit. But we will see into the afternoon, because I know that there's a lot of events going on. We were talking about them at the news at noon, and we've kind of had them scattered throughout our newscast of those events coming up. So if you are going to be going to some of those, make sure that you are bundling up going on Saturday. You do still see that wind chills are right around 0, maybe even -1 at times. So it's still not like we have big improvements, but it's definitely better than being 20 degrees below 0 when we're just maybe at 0 or a few degrees below that. So these are just going to be the conditions that it's going to feel like outside. So this is what we have to dress for. This is what we have to prepare for, because we are going to be looking at that colder air coming in. So again, that's why we have the first alert weather days for Friday and Saturday. Is this going to be absolutely crippling? No, it's not. But we just want to make sure that you're prepared, that we could have maybe some delays just because that cold air coming in. Maybe you don't have that cold spot in the house. You don't have that space heater ready, to where then maybe you have a pipe that freezes up. Just kind of take some of those precautions, because that throws off your normal routine if you're kind of having to do a little bit of Band-Aid work on some plumbing. So just kind of keep in mind that this cold air this season, though it's definitely manageable, it could throw you off or have something sneak up on you. Also, make sure that you're taking proper health care. I know we've been running some stories on that. You don't want to do that instant heat relief to kind of get the warmth coming back in. You kind of want to do the warm water to kind of get going, rather than that hot water if you maybe have your hands that are experiencing some frostbite. So make sure that you're reaching out to medical experts if needed here to combat these cold conditions. We are going to take a quick break. We're going to do one real fast check of that lake effect that we have for today. And then that 7-day forecast is still coming up, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are going to go straight into our snowfall, as we are seeing our sky tracker picking up on that lake effect. We had a pretty healthy band roll through Grand Blanc and Fenton this morning, definitely dropping those visibilities, causing slick conditions. So there was a lot of slower speeds right there. Again, where we had a lot of that snow on Tuesday, still more lake effect rolling today for drivers across southern Genesee County coming into Livingston and Oakland counties. So we are still finding that we are picking up on those snow showers right along I-69. You can can see it's kind of lining up there to be along 96, I-69, some of those interstates. We do still have a little bit of those returns coming in further north. It just maybe isn't getting picked up on radar, considering lake effect does hit a little bit on the lower side of radar. So sometimes we can find that that gets a little bit clipped at times. I'll see if I can bring up our camera here in Mount Pleasant, because I anticipate that they are seeing a little bit of snow there as well. So as that starts to switch over, it doesn't look, it's more a blowing snow concern, at least some of the snow coming off of the buildings here. I don't see any new snowflakes that are coming down, but still that spotty flurry, couple of snow showers, those are going to be possible here for us today. As we still continue to see that lake effect, we will continue to kind of keep those scattered snow showers in place. So just watch radar as best as you can. We are going to see that it's pretty spotty in the coverage. Still kind of a bigger push here this evening for us to have at least some better coverage. It's still only sitting at about a 30% of that scattered lake effect. But by 11 o'clock, this is going to be like that last push that comes in, because the cold air comes. We don't have a lot of moisture with it because it is so cold and dry. So then that is going to leave our Friday forecast still with some lake effect, some cloud cover, but we are going to be seeing potentially some sun trying to come through at times. We do have high pressure in place. So Saturday morning, we see that we still have some clearing skies, and throughout the day, still not a ton of lake effect. So that's why with the cold air, we'll have enough to deal with that we are going to just be keeping a few flurries, because the lake effect is still going to be up and running, but it coming into mid-Michigan might be just a little bit tricky for it to get going. So again, just kind of monitoring radar, keeping an eye to our traffic here. When we take a check of our winds, we are finding those coming out of the west. They have been blustery today. We are seeing those around 25 to 30 miles per hour, but check out Saginaw, Port Hope. We had 39-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So we've had some of those peak winds getting around 40 miles per hour at times today. So we are going to be finding that it is quite blustery. As we have to wrap up here just before 1 o'clock, our first alert 7-day forecast is going to show that cold air, the first alert weather days. A couple of flurries to go with it. We are watching the system for Sunday. We have some snow that's going to be coming in. I'm sure you've heard that big system that's going to be out towards the southern half of the East Coast. And so we are going to be seeing some snow kind of creeping our way. So just some lighter snow. I haven't seen totals that have been too crazy in that one, but we're going to see if it shifts at all. So far we've seen that northerly shift to add snow into the forecast. But beyond that, then we just have a little bit of lake effect and some isolated snow chances going into next week. Thankfully, temperatures by then do get into the teens, hovering a little bit closer towards 20 degrees. Of course, we still have a lot to discuss, but Chris is going to be talking about some of these topics and discussing them tonight at 9 o'clock. So make sure you tune in here to the First Alert desk, because he's going to have the latest on those wind chills, but also look at what you can expect going into the weekend. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We'll be right back here tonight at 9 o'clock to hang out with Chris.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.